Welcome the rare gems. She wasn't born to fit in. She was born to flow on her own terms. In a world that constantly pushes women to be more likable, more visible, more agreeable, the Sigma female quietly walks the other way. She's not interested in playing roles or following the script. She's not out to prove herself to the world. Her focus is simple: freedom, self-respect, and truth. The Sigma female lifestyle is not loud or flashy. It's intentional, sharp, and deeply self-defined. She may not talk much about what she's building, but make no mistake, she's building something real. Her life is structured around inner peace, mental clarity, and personal power. She doesn't need a spotlight. She doesn't crave attention. What she wants is control over her own time, space, and mind. This video isn't about surface-level girl boss hype. It's a deeper look into what truly drives a Sigma woman. We'll explore how she handles love, career, solitude, growth, and the kind of strength that doesn't need to shout to be real. You'll see why she chooses purpose over popularity, and how she lives by principles, not pressure. If you're tired of being told who to be or how to move, this is for you. Watch this with an open mind, and maybe a little notebook, because something here will click. And if you see yourself in these words, you're not alone. You're not too much. You're not too quiet. You're exactly enough, just on your own frequency. Now keep watching. Let's talk Sigma. Number 1. Her lifestyle is a system of personal experiments. She doesn't follow a manual because she's too busy writing her own. The Sigma female doesn't just live. She tests, tweaks, and redefines her life constantly. Her lifestyle isn't based on trends, traditions, or what worked for someone else. It's based on what works for her, and she's never afraid to throw something out and start again. To her, every part of life, what she eats, how she works, who she talks to, how she spends her time, is part of a personal experiment. She might try waking up at 5 a.m. one month, then shift to working late nights the next, not because she's indecisive, but because she's curious. She wants to know how her mind and body operate best. She'll cut out sugar, delete her social media, or move cities, not for drama, but to observe how her environment affects her peace. If it drains her, it's gone. If it fuels her, it stays. That's the rule. She doesn't just go with the flow. She builds the riverbed, studies the current, and redirects it if she needs to. And here's the thing. She's not scared to fail. Experiments don't always go right. Some choices suck, some risks backfire. But she collects data, adjusts, and moves forward. No shame, no drama, just clarity. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by pressure to have it all figured out or to stick with something just because it worked for someone else, stop. You're not a copy. You're a prototype. And prototypes evolve. The Sigma female doesn't chase perfection. She chases alignment. And if it doesn't fit her anymore, she lets it go, even if it used to work. That's the kind of wisdom you'll see unfold in this video. If you're done following tired rules and ready to run your own experiments, watch this. It might just unlock something you've been afraid to test. Number 2. She doesn't need luxury. She needs freedom. The Sigma female doesn't dream of yachts, 5-star dinners, or designer labels, not because she looks down on them, but because they're not the goal. What she truly wants is something far more rare and powerful: freedom. She would rather wake up in a small, quiet apartment where she owns her time than in a high-rise penthouse she can't leave because she's trapped in a job she hates. She doesn't care if her car turns heads or if her clothes scream status. What matters to her is being able to say no to toxic people, to fake friendships, to draining routines. That kind of power, you can't buy it. She knows that luxury without freedom is just a shiny cage. And she refuses to be anyone's trophy, assistant, or puppet, no matter how fancy the leash. This doesn't mean she lacks ambition. In fact, she's driven, but on her own terms. She's not building a life to impress people at brunch. She's building one where she can breathe, move, create, and live without waiting for someone else's permission. She might turn down a high-paying job if it means selling her soul. She'll walk away from a perfect relationship if it costs her independence. She's not chasing aesthetics. She's chasing authenticity. And here's what makes her unstoppable. Once she experiences even a taste of real freedom, she will never settle again. She'll work 3 jobs, live simply, or start from scratch if she has to. But she'll do it her way. If you've ever felt like luxury was the dream, ask yourself, What if it's actually freedom you've been craving all along? This video breaks down what it really looks like to build a life where you're the one holding the keys. If you're done pretending that luxury equals happiness and ready to claim something deeper, you might just see your true self in it. Number 3. Her wardrobe is a reflection of strategy, not trends. For the Sigma female, getting dressed isn't about following trends or impressing strangers. It's about alignment. Every piece in her wardrobe serves a purpose. Whether it's simple, bold, dark, or unconventional, it reflects what's going on inside, not what's being broadcast outside. She doesn't care if something is in this season. If it doesn't resonate with who she is or how she moves through the world, it doesn't make it into her closet. Fashion for her isn't about noise, it's about strategy. Her clothes are chosen to protect her peace, conserve her energy, and sometimes make a quiet statement without saying a word. Some days, she blends in on purpose. A black turtleneck, clean lines, no frills. Other days, she walks out in something bold and expressive, not because she wants attention, but because it reflects her current intent. She dresses for her mood, her mission, and her mindset, not for social media approval or passing compliments. And make no mistake, her wardrobe is armor. It helps her set boundaries without having to explain them. It signals, I'm not here for small talk, or I'm focused, or approach with purpose. That's power. She doesn't chase labels. She creates her own look. And if that means wearing the same few things on rotation for months, so be it. She's more concerned with how she feels in what she wears than how she's perceived. Comfort, confidence, clarity, that's her aesthetic. Her style is an extension of her self-awareness. She knows who she is, what she stands for, and what she's walking toward. Her clothing simply supports that mission. So if you've ever felt like dressing up was just another performance, maybe it's time to do what she does. Wear your truth, not someone else's idea of style. Number 4. Her romance life isn't on display because it's not for the public. The Sigma female keeps her love life where it belongs, private. She could be single and thriving in a quiet relationship, married to her best friend, or choosing complete celibacy, and you wouldn't know unless she decided to tell you. Why? Because her personal life isn't a performance, and love isn't something she flaunts for approval. She doesn't post cryptic quotes or photo dumps to prove a point. She's not interested in using romance to signal success, happiness, or desirability. To her, intimacy is sacred, not content. That's why you'll never catch her chasing validation through couple selfies, dramatic breakup rants, or love triangles on display. It's just not her style. When she connects with someone, it's deep, intentional, and shielded from the noise. She values genuine connection over public applause, and if she chooses to walk away from someone, she does it quietly, with grace, not gossip. Even her silence around relationships is powerful. It's not secrecy out of fear, it's protection out of self-respect. She understands that not everything needs to be explained, defended, or shared. Some things are just for her. And this confuses people. We're used to a world where oversharing is the norm, where being seen in love somehow makes it more real. But the Sigma female doesn't operate that way. She doesn't need an audience to confirm her emotions. Her love life is a conversation between her and whoever she chooses to let in, period. So whether she's in love, healing, exploring, or simply focused on herself, you won't know unless she wants you to. And that's not cold. It's intentional. She's not hiding. She's honoring what matters. And that's the kind of privacy that comes from power, not fear. Number 5. Her identity is a fluid blueprint. The Sigma female doesn't box herself in. She's not here to wear one label, follow one path, or fit into a fixed version of who she should be. Her identity is a fluid blueprint, a design that shifts, evolves, and adapts while staying true to its foundation. Some days she's the leader, decisive, focused, and in full control. Other days, she's the observer, quiet, reflective, and content to sit in the background. One week she's deep in logic, the next she's led entirely by intuition. That's not confusion, that's range. That's her natural rhythm. People who rely on fixed categories, is she a feminist, a rebel, a mystic, a boss, will never fully understand her. She'll pull pieces from all of them and then toss the rest. She doesn't need to belong to a tribe to know who she is. Her self-worth isn't anchored in an identity group, it's anchored in self-awareness. She's a shapeshifter, but not a sellout. She adjusts to environments, not to please them, but to navigate them. She can blend in without losing herself. She can pivot without apology. And she knows when to shed an old version of herself to make room for growth. This frustrates people who want her to stay consistent. But what they're really asking for is predictability, and she has no interest in living a predictable life. Stagnation suffocates her. Fluidity frees her. Her life isn't about choosing a lane, it's about building a landscape where all her layers can exist at once. She is soft and sharp, grounded and ethereal, fierce and forgiving. None of it is a contradiction, it's complexity with clarity. She doesn't fear outgrowing titles, roles, or even people, because her blueprint was never meant to be static. It was meant to expand. So try to define her, and you'll miss her entirely. Understand her fluidity, and you'll witness something rare, a woman who refuses to be reduced because she knows she was never meant to be contained. Number 6, obligation is her kryptonite. If there's one thing that drains a Sigma woman faster than anything, it's forced obligation. Not genuine responsibility. She can handle pressure, high stakes, and even chaos if it's tied to purpose. But performative obligations? The kind rooted in outdated expectations, guilt, tradition, or unspoken rules? That's her kryptonite. Family duties that demand she play a role she never chose. Cultural expectations that try to script her femininity, her voice, or her priorities. Workplace politics that reward compliance over competence. These are the environments where she starts to wither, not because she's weak, but because she's wired for freedom. She feels it physically. The weight of pretending. The tightness in her chest when she's expected to smile through discomfort, agree out of politeness, or sacrifice herself for the sake of keeping the peace. She can do it for a while, but not for long. Because deep down, she knows. Anything she has to do, just to be accepted, isn't love. It's control wrapped in tradition. And here's what makes her dangerous in the best way. She doesn't stay stuck. She might try to play along for a moment, out of loyalty, out of hope. But once she sees the trap, she finds the exit, fast. And if she can't find one, she'll create it. She'll walk away from titles, roles, jobs, even blood ties, if they demand her obedience without respect. To the world, this might look rebellious, cold even, but to her, it's survival. Because a Sigma woman forced to live by someone else's script will eventually do one of two things, break out or break down. And she didn't come this far to break down. She's not here to play roles. She's here to write her own. Number 7, she's dangerous because she's uninvested. The Sigma female is a force because she's uninvested in what most people think they can use against her. While others might crave validation, approval, or attachment to their social circles, she's free from that need. And that's what makes her incredibly dangerous. Not in an overt way, but in the way she operates, moves, and exists in the world. She doesn't fear being alone. While most people are terrified of isolation, she finds solitude to be a place of clarity and power. She knows that she's more than enough on her own. If the world were to turn its back on her tomorrow, she'd be just fine, stronger even. That's a kind of freedom most people can't comprehend. And it's exactly what makes her untouchable. She also doesn't fear being broke. Money? It's a tool, not a source of self-worth. If she loses it, she knows how to hustle, create, and get back on her feet. She has the confidence to rebuild because her value isn't tied to external success. It's anchored in her resourcefulness, her mindset, and her resilience. She's already equipped with everything she needs to thrive, regardless of what's in her bank account. And she certainly doesn't fear being disliked. In fact, she's okay with it. She'd rather be disliked for being real than liked for being something she's not. She's not here to please anyone. People either respect her or they move on, and she's perfectly fine with that. The moment someone tries to manipulate her with guilt, shame, or pressure, they hit a wall. She doesn't bend. She doesn't break. This is where her power lies. She's not invested in other people's opinions or expectations. She's only invested in herself, and that makes her unshakably powerful. Manipulation only works when someone has something to lose. She's not losing anything because she's already whole just as she is. Her freedom from fear. That's her true strength. Number 8. Her growth is self-imposed, not socially rewarded. The Sigma female doesn't chase personal development because she wants to impress anyone or tick off some societal box. She isn't striving to be better for the approval of family, friends, or the world at large. No, her growth is self-imposed, a quiet commitment to her own evolution. It's about becoming who she's meant to be, not who others think she should be. Every book she reads, every challenge she tackles, every uncomfortable situation she places herself in, it's all part of her personal journey, not some public performance. She's not posting her gym progress, her meditation streak, or her new career milestone just to receive likes or praise. She doesn't need that validation. Her motivation comes from a much deeper place, the desire to see what she's capable of, to stretch the limits of her potential, to become the highest version of herself. She's not after the applause. In fact, she's often content with working in silence. While others might flaunt their success or measure their worth against external standards, she measures her progress by the internal shifts she feels. Every lesson learned, every step forward, every goal achieved is a quiet victory in her world, a victory that doesn't need to be seen or celebrated by others. This is why her growth is so powerful. It's authentic, driven by her own standards and desires. It's not about pleasing people or following trends. It's about becoming the person she knows she should be, regardless of what anyone else thinks. And that makes her unstoppable, because her focus is inward. It's untethered to anyone else's approval or benchmarks. Her journey is hers alone, and that's where her strength lies. She grows not to be better for the world, but to be better for herself. Number 9. She doesn't just break rules. She ignores their existence. There's a difference between breaking rules and not recognizing them at all. The Sigma female doesn't walk around trying to be a rebel. She's not throwing middle fingers in every direction or seeking a fight. But if a rule doesn't make sense, if it wasn't made for someone like her, or if it boxes her in, she won't just question it. She'll bypass it completely. She doesn't rebel for attention. She doesn't need to prove that she's different. What makes her so compelling is that she moves like the rule was never there in the first place. While others are asking for permission, waiting for approval, or checking if they're allowed to try something new, she's already doing it. Quietly, without fanfare. This isn't defiance, it's clarity. She knows the world wasn't exactly built with independent women in mind, women who don't want to be managed, molded, or muted. So why would she try to thrive inside systems that were never designed to support her in the first place? She doesn't need to burn it down, she just steps outside of it. In school, in relationships, at work, she sees all the silent rules. Smile more, be easier, don't take up too much space. And instead of fighting them head-on, she simply refuses to play. She'll carve her own lane, make her own money, build her own path, and protect her own peace. And while others might call her difficult or non-compliant, they're missing the point. She's not fighting the rules. She's evolving past them. That's the Sigma energy, unbothered, unbent, unwritten. She doesn't ask what's allowed. She asks, what's true for me? And then she follows that without looking back. Number 10. She measures compatibility by intellectual tension, not comfort. For the Sigma female, comfort is nice, but challenge is essential. She's not looking for someone to just be there. She wants someone who can mentally spar, push her thinking, question her logic, and stretch her perspective. If you can't stimulate her mind, you're not a contender, you're just company. This doesn't mean she wants drama or conflict. It means she craves intellectual tension, the kind of energy that comes from two sharp minds colliding, blending, and evolving. She wants conversations that spark something, not just how was your day, but what's something you believe that most people don't? Why do you think we behave the way we do? What's your biggest truth right now? If all you bring is small talk, surface-level opinions, and recycled ideas, she'll lose interest fast. She might smile, she might nod, but in her head the conversation is already over. Her ideal partner doesn't need to agree with her, but they must challenge her. She respects people who think independently, who question norms, and who aren't afraid to call her out, respectfully, intelligently, and without ego. That's how she grows. That's how they grow. Comfort zones bore her. Predictability puts her to sleep. She needs friction, the good kind. The kind that leads to late-night debates, unexpected insights, and a relationship that's constantly evolving. This is why so many people misunderstand her. She's not cold, she's calibrating, she's filtering, she's measuring who can meet her in that space where most never even think to go. So if you want to get close to her, bring more than charm. Bring your mind, challenge her, question her, inspire her. Otherwise, no matter how close you think you are, you'll stay on the outside. Just a companion, never a real contender. Number 11. Success must feel autonomous. To a Sigma woman, success isn't about climbing the ladder, collecting titles, or being seen in the spotlight. If it doesn't feel free, it doesn't feel like success. She will gladly walk away from big offers, shiny positions, or high-paying deals if they come with strings attached. To most people, that sounds crazy. To her, it's non-negotiable. She values autonomy more than applause. It's not that she's lazy or afraid of pressure. She can handle chaos, challenge, and responsibility, probably better than most. But the second she feels owned, micromanaged, or trapped in a role that isn't hers, she's out. No drama, no explanation, just a clean break. She doesn't chase success that's scripted. The path that works for everyone else, the one with fixed promotions, power couples, influencer deals, or corporate ladders, feels like a cage to her. She'd rather build something slower, quieter, and on her own terms than rush into something that steals her creative or emotional independence. For her, how she wins matters just as much as what she wins. Even in relationships, she won't attach herself to someone just because it looks good on paper. She wants a love that respects her space and her mission, not one that tries to shape it. The same goes for business. She'll turn down partnerships that force her to compromise her voice, even if they offer exposure or fast money. This is what makes her rare, and often misunderstood. People wonder why she keeps a low profile or doesn't go bigger. What they don't realize is, she just refuses to lose herself in the process. To the Sigma woman, success isn't about being at the top. It's about being in control of her time, her values, her energy, her art. If freedom isn't part of the deal, she's not signing it. Conclusion: Sigma female lifestyles. The Sigma female isn't trying to be anyone's role model, hero, or rebel. She's just trying to live a life that feels true, not loud, not perfect, but deeply aligned. Her lifestyle isn't built around attention, trends, or ticking off boxes that society says should matter. It's built around freedom, clarity, and self-respect. She lives by her own rules, not because she wants to be difficult, but because she knows what it costs to live dishonestly. She's learned that silence is better than fake smiles, solitude is better than forced company, and peace is better than performance. Her growth is real, her values are non-negotiable, and her boundaries, ironclad. You might not always understand her, and that's okay. She doesn't need to be understood to stay rooted. She's not waiting for permission to live her truth. She's already doing it, quietly, powerfully, and without applause. If you're a Sigma woman, or becoming one, here's the reminder. You're not too intense, too distant, too particular, or too anything. You're just in tune. Keep shaping your life with intention. Keep questioning the noise. Keep walking away from anything that feels fake. You don't have to make sense to everyone. You just have to make sense to yourself. The world isn't always kind to women who choose freedom over approval, but freedom is always worth it. So stay sharp, stay grounded, and most of all, stay yours. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.